Hello guys, another new true story. This time is an extremely crazy one. You will get so puzzled, you will feel like you are listening to one of Agatha Christie's stories. I'm not sure if you heard of her before, but she's so famous of writing the most mysterious stories ever. It's fictional because she's brilliant. Few people can guess who's the criminal, like one of 10,000. She's that brilliant. But so don't waste your time guessing who is the criminal in my story. Maybe some of you will. If you did, honestly, if you did at the end, let me know in the comments. That will impress me. So shall we start? Let's start. Hello guys, another true story. It happened in Morocco recently, probably 7, 8 years ago. And the story is between two families, a brother and his family, like his immediate family, kids and wife and daughter. He has 2 boys and 1 girl, and his sister has the opposite, 2 girls and 1 boy. The man's name is Abu Samir, and I don't know if you heard one of my previous stories that explain a cultural Arabic thing where people call themselves by their oldest son name, that you cannot call older people or married people who are older than you by their first name. It's disrespectful. So most of my stories are gonna have a name like that because that's how the report mentioned them, and just to disguise their real name. So Abu Samir has 2 sons and 1 daughter. The daughter is married and he has a wife. He's really comfortable financially. He has a lot of money. He invested in something, or he did some business that exploded. He does international export and import. So he lived in a very nice house, traveled the world. His kids were comfortable, and they are not kids anymore. They are grown-ups, actually. The boys are in their late 20s. His daughter is married. She's the youngest. His wife is comfortable. They have a good relationship. And his sister is just an average middle class family. They have regular jobs, she and her husband, and her kids also grown-ups. Her 2 daughters and son are living together. Arabic families, the kids don't leave. They still live in the family house. It's the norm. Even when they get married, they stay live with the parents. So growing up, these two brothers and sisters, their kids became so close to each other. Some of the kids fell in love. I know it's a taboo topic in Western world, but in the Arabic world and other cultures, it's actually preferable to marry your cousins. I know, it sounds gross. I was shocked that people, oh, gross. They call it gross back home. It's really cute and fun, and like to fall in love with your cousin because they grow up with each other and they fall in love. It's a frown upon in the faith because their book or their faith explain that getting married from far away blood is better for the kids. Back in the days, they didn't understand what that means. Now they know genetically it's not good for the babies. Genetic diseases are more likely to happen between family members when they marry each other. Anyway, so the oldest son of Abu Samir, which is Samir, got married to his cousin. She was very beautiful. They were very happy. She moved in with her aunt because, as I told you, they live comfortably. So the dad suggested, we have a very big mansion. Why don't you take a room or a suite and just live with us? And the son automatically moved. She moved with them automatically. But after a while, they were surprised that the daughter-in-law wasn't what they expected. She didn't meet their expectations as a daughter-in-law. Usually in those cultures, she would act like a daughter. She would help the mom in the house. She would be a good wife, cook and clean. and take care of the kids and do her duties as a female in a traditional society, like Moroccan society. None of that happened. She would wake up afternoon really late at like 2 or 3 p.m. She would fight with her aunt, her husband mom, which is her aunt. She's not like a strange woman. She didn't treat her husband well. She was arguing all the time, complaining all the time, wanna shop all the time, sleep late and wake up late, and it wasn't just like a comfortable relationship with everybody. Eventually, the dad suggested to his son that his mom is not comfortable and it's getting out of control. It's not healthy for the whole family that he stays with his wife any longer in the house with them. And she's disturbing his wife's peace, which this is Abu Samir talking, the owner of the house, that his son should leave to his own apartment. And eventually that's what happened. And probably his wife was nagging and causing troubles because she wants her freedom. She want to have her own space and her place. And that's her right, but she should have done it communicating better, not this way. Anyway, even after she moved out, she stayed the same. Nothing changed. Her attitude, her morals, she still wasn't lovely with her husband family. Of course, she told her mom about the situation. Since the family is close, Samir mom and the wife mom spoke with each other like, hey, your daughter is not acting well. And the mom, the wife mom should, which is the aunt, should say, yeah, I'm so sorry, I'm going to talk to her. She started defending her daughter, even when her daughter made a mistake, which is bad upbringing. And maybe that's why the daughter didn't act well. Anyway, long story short, the second son now wanted to marry the second girl. Abu Samir's son, the middle son, want to marry the second daughter, which is his brother's wife, sister. And since the Samir mom had problem with the previous daughter, she completely rejected the idea. She started screaming and she started crying. Her son started defending the girl. No, she's different. She's not the same. And the mom said, no, if the same woman raised them, she has to be the same. I'm not going to have another daughter of that evil house destroying my family and coming to my family. Anyway, her son tried to talk to his dad. His dad said, if your mom says no, I cannot do anything. In the Arabic society, you need to know this piece of information. When you bring a woman to the family, she could destroy the family and she could make it stronger. So it's really dangerous. So when someone bring a daughter-in-law to the house, the whole family has to approve this relationship. They have to ask about her family, her morals, and everything, because it could affect the family bond, and it could affect the family reputation. I know it's weird, but that's how the tradition is. You don't just go and marry any girl and just present it to your family. The whole family has to bless the relationship and the marriage and approve it. So if the dad and mom says no, it's a no. You could talk to them, you could convince them. Some cases it did work, but they have the right to say no, because she's going to share the family name and share the family wealth and everything in the family. So if something is wrong with the girl, they have the right to say no to this marriage. So that's what his mom did, the second son. And he didn't accept the situation. So he tried for a week and 2 weeks, and when she was a solid no from his mom, he left the house and he wanted to move and stay outside. Oh, guess where he started sleeping? Of course, he went to his aunt's house and told her what happened, and she told him, yeah, you can stay with us and live with us until she changed her mind or whatever. Even if she didn't change her mind, the mom would still marry her daughter to this boy, even if his family didn't approve it. She doesn't care. Days passed and months passed, and the mom is still not approving this marriage. So her son gave up, and stayed with his aunt, and he never came back to his family house. But one day he went to visit his family around probably afternoon, and he was shocked when he walked to the house to see his mom on the floor. Her blood is everywhere, and he freaked the hell out. Suddenly, out of the blue, for no reason, the mom was laying down on the floor in her blood. He didn't know she's dead. He called the ambulance, called his dad. The dad came rushing to the house, but the ambulance already took her to the hospital, and they declared her dead. The police was called because it's assumed to be a homicide. The police got called. They came in. They asked about her name, her information, what's going on, and they asked the son. The son couldn't stop crying and couldn't respond to anybody. He was so scared because this happened out of the blue for no reason. Anyway, the funeral ended. There was sadness all over both of the families, a lot of confusion. This happened out of the blue. The police investigated immediately the husband. Of course, he's the first suspect. They called him and told him, can you come to the police station? Of course, after he buried his wife and everything was done. Arabs are a little bit lenient about this when it comes to death and these matters. So they were investigating with him, and they started asking him about the day the murder happened. Where were you? He said, I was at work. I have no idea what happened. I don't know who did it, but I was at work. So they told him, can we go to your work and ask them, or do you have any evidence that you were all the day at work? And he said, yeah, we have cameras all over my work. They went and retrieved the videos, and it did prove that he was at work the whole day. He signed in. He didn't sign out because of the phone call, the disturbing phone call, but all the videos proved that he was in the office, getting in and out of room after room after room, office after an office, like probably the cafeteria and stuff like that. So there was a proof that he never left the building that day. There was no cameras in his house, so there is no other suspect. They didn't know anything. They investigated the kids, the sons. There is absolutely no clue. So the case turned to be a cold case, since there is no suspects and no clues at all. Months passed, probably three months. So it's really early. The wound is still open. The kids are still sad. And suddenly the dad declared that he wanted to marry this young girl. The dad is probably in his late 50s. And this girl is 23, 21, something around that age. And his second son completely rejected the idea. That is too soon. How could you do that? He didn't understand his dad. Like, of course, men cannot live without a woman, especially if they are older, but not this fast. And it's a very young girl. He rejected the matter so much that he didn't even attend his dad's wedding. He said, I don't want to have anything related to this. I don't approve it. I don't want to attend the wedding at all. The dad lived happy with his new wife. She's young, she's active, and she's really pretty. She's extremely pretty girl. And I forgot to say that when the mom passed away, his daughter, he had two boys and one girl. I told you she was married. The daughter brought her husband and her kids, and she moved with her dad to keep him company and console, and as a condolence to him, just to give him some company after the mom passed away. But it was very tragic. Her husband moved in, her kids, and she goes to work, her husband goes to work, and she stayed probably, even after he got married, she stayed there for a couple months, and then she left. One day, the husband, which is Abu Samir, probably 3 months after they get married, he told her, "You have been away from your family for a long time. Why don't you go and visit your mom?" Her mom was like 4 or 5 hours in a town in Morocco called Al Ain, and she had to fly there. He bought her a ticket, said goodbye to her, and let her go on her way. She said, "Are you sure you don't mind me going for that long?" Because she's gonna go for a week, couple weeks, or a month probably, to see her family and spend some time with them. And he said, "No, I'm fine. I'll see you when you come back. If you need anything, call me, and I'll come and visit you and see you sometime. I might come and visit." So she left next day. She packed and left next day, and 6 hours passed, 7 hours passed. Her mom called him. She said, "Did my daughter leave? Isn't she supposed to come and see us today?" He said, "Yeah, she left early morning. She's supposed to be there like 7 hours ago. She's not there yet?" And her mom said, "No, I don't know where she is. What happened? Are you sure?" I'm so concerned. And he told her, "Let me make a couple phone calls to people that she know. Do you know her friends? Does she know anybody there?" She said, "No, I don't know her friends, but I'll ask her sister. Maybe she knows." So the mom hung up the phone, asked her sister if she knows her sister's friends, but she would never do that. She would call them or see them first, then go and see her friends. But probably she didn't have a phone. I don't know. So it was a very strange situation. The mom didn't accept it. Like her daughter would do something like that, see her friends and probably spend the night, because now it became late. Probably it's 10 at night and they haven't heard from her at all. Next day came in and there is no trace of the girl at all. So the mom went and told her husband, "I'm going to call the police. I'm so concerned about my daughter." She was almost having a nerve breakdown, because girls don't do that. They don't just disappear on their families. And the husband also called the police where he lived and reported that his wife is missing. They haven't heard from her since she left. The police called the airport. They asked for information about the passenger. Did she get in the airplane or did she miss her airplane? They said no, she did check in the airplane. The footage shows that she did pick up her bag and she was walking in the airport, and she left off the airport, and after that there was no trace of her at all. So the cameras in the airport proved that she did take the airplane, and from the flight log in and log out and checking in, checking out. She did check in, she did travel, but then no news of her after she landed in her town, Al Ain. They called hospitals. There was no trace of her, and there was no way of her to be found. We will stop here at this chapter of the story, and we will move to a completely different chapter. The chapter that we will talk about next, and that's why I'm telling you some couple details. Like, I'm gonna go in depth in details because it's very important for the story. And so you understand the events, and it will show you how karma can come back and hunt people no matter what they do, no matter how they think they are smart. By God's grace and God's plan will always win. The second chapter is of a completely different characters. They have absolutely no relationship with Abu Samir and his sister, and they're both their families or his new wife, completely strangers, but they live in the same town where Abu Samir lives. It's two brothers who have two kids. They are the same age almost. One is 18 and one is 21. So they were always hanging out with each other. They were both gamers. They play games for hours and hours and hours. They enjoyed their company. The dads were so close to each other, and they love each other like brothers. I don't think they were brothers, but they were acting like brothers because they were very close friends, and their kids became very close friends. One day, one of the two brothers, the two grown-up men, one of them invited the other one and told him, bring your son with you. But the son didn't want to come over. He just stayed at home. So the other friend's son went and joined him in his home. And they were playing games all the time. When the two dads were hanging out in the other friend's house. So the fathers were hanging out in a house, and the two kids were or the teenagers, I should call them, were hanging out together in one of the kids' house. Time passed, hours passed, and probably it's midnight. So the father of the 18-year-old kid came back to his house to check on the kids, and he found them really drunk, really wasted. And it's a taboo in the Arabic culture. They are not supposed to drink. Alcohol is banned. But they have access to it. Of course, Morocco is a tourist area, a touristy country. So they allow alcohol like Dubai, but some countries don't, like Saudi Arabia. Completely banned. They don't import it, they don't make it, they don't export it. Morocco was lenient about that. You're not supposed to drink it if you're Muslim or Arabic or committed to the faith, but it's available for Christians and other tourists from other religions. Long story short, they were really wasted, and the dad was extremely mad at them. He started hitting his son, and he kicked his friend's son outside. Of course, he was wasted. He wouldn't let him go alone. He told him to spend the night with them and leave next day in the morning. But he yelled at them, and he actually punished his son, and he told him, you will never play your video game for a month because of that. They were too loud, and they ruined the house. I don't know what they were doing, but they were out of their minds. That caused the father to lose his mind and beat his son. Anyway, days passed, and the kids were hanging out with each other here and there, 3 times, 4 times a week. One of those nights, the same, because the son was not in a good relationship with his dad. He was bored that he doesn't have his video game and play with his friend. He asked his friend, shall we go out tonight and see what's going on in town? And he said, yeah, let's go. So they went outside hanging out, walking in the small town, and they passed by a wedding. That wedding was one of the parties that Abu Samir was attending with his new wife. Her name is Salima. Let's call her Salima. I'm hiding the real names because these are true stories, just for the safety of my channel. Salima was leaving with Abu Samir the party when the one of the kids was asking his friend to join the party, where they weren't invited, but they just want to walk in and have fun. Well, the 21-year-old kid, he said, no, I'm not going to do this. We're not allowed to be there. I'm just going to go home. If you want to enjoy your time and attend the party, you are free to go. And that's what happened. The 21-year-old boy left home. The 18-year-old boy want to stay and have fun in the party. So he was going to jump over the fence because he was hearing music and loud things. So he jumped over the fence. So the 18-year-old enjoyed himself probably, or I don't know what happened, but he never came back home that night. His father called the 21-year-old and his father and asked about his son. Where is my son? he never came back. Is he spending the night with you? The 21-year-old says, no, we went to walk outside and hang out in the town, but he attended a party that we were passing by, and that's the last time I heard from him. And the father was extremely concerned. He immediately went outside looking for his son, asking about his other friends, but he was nowhere to be found. The dad, next day in the morning, reported the incident to the police. I'm missing my son. I haven't heard from him. This is not him. And he showed them the last text messages he received from his son. And the police immediately went to the 21-year-old friend and asked him a couple of questions, where he left him, where the party was, because that was the last place they saw, and he's still a suspect because he was the last person to see him. They went to where the party was, knew the owner of the place. They went inside and knocked the door to ask him a couple of questions. After they finished asking the owner of the house where the party was held, where the 21-year-old and 18-year-old kids were separated, he confirmed that he hasn't seen the kid. He never heard of him. He doesn't know him. So the police officers were asking him to investigate the area and see inside the house and outside the house, and they couldn't find anything inside the house. Then they went outside the house with the dogs. They asked the 21-year-old to show them where they got separated, and they turned around. That was a very big mansion, so it has a big walls and tall walls. In the Middle East, people don't have open homes like the way in America or in Europe. You have to have a massive tall walls around your house for privacy and security. So they went behind the house, and the 21-year-old was showing them where his friend jumped over the wall to attend the party or see what's going on. And everybody was shocked at the scene. The 18-year-old kid was dead. He was slaughtered too. He had a cut in his neck. He bled to death. So that's the second homicide. The police immediately hold the father because the father was there. The 21-year-old kid was there. It was really ugly scene. And they tried to calm them down. The father collapsed and almost had a heart attack. He got taken to the hospital. Everybody was puzzled. Nobody knew what's going on. Why an 18-year-old kid is slaughtered in a strange person fence. The police kept investigating, and a week passed, 2 weeks passed, 3 weeks passed, and the police thought that we might ask the owner of the house who attended the party that day. After the father calmed down, this is a very important detail, after the father calmed down, he remembered that he received a text message from his son that night. And that's why I told you, don't try to solve the case, because you will never guess who did the two murders. It's one person. And now you will see how the story is gonna unfold. The father of the 18-year-old victim who got slaughtered sent his father a message late at night. That night he disappeared. Hey Dad, I see a man that seems to be killing his wife. He's beating his wife. She's struggling. I think he's gonna kill her. And that's the last message he received from his son. So now the police thinks that the son got killed because he was an eyewitness of a murder. Now back to Abu Samir. Abu Samir, his wife is still missing. Nobody seen a body. Nobody heard from her. Nobody reported anything. Even when the police put a reward outside, any information, nobody heard anything at all. So months passed, and people start seeing Abu Samir hanging out with a third woman. A woman he met at work, and he's work with her, and probably he met her there, and they seems to have a romantic relationship that fast. And a third woman, and he already have a wife that was murdered and a wife that is missing. So that was really suspicious, but they couldn't do anything because there is no evidence, no clue, but people start talking. Back to the two friends who one of their kids got slaughtered. The police officers, after they saw the text message, they went back to the owner of the house where the party was held, and they told him, can you give us the guest that you had that night? To no one's surprise, Abu Samir was there, and the police knows about his case with his first wife. And so he got called back again and was questioned again, and he said he doesn't know anything about anything, and he denied everything. The police suspected that he knows something, even if he denied it, so they got a hold of his new girlfriend, the third girlfriend that he's hanging out with, because the rumors start to spread, so the police thought they should interrogate her. Of course, women are weaker than men. They usually, when in murder cases, that's the norm, and that's why most serial killers are men. I'm not accusing anybody, but the information proves itself from all the stories we hear. She collapsed and told the entire story, and guess what happened? I know everybody thought that Abu Samir's sister killed his wife, or probably his daughter-in-law had a fight with her and killed her, probably her son killed her, but no, none of those did it. So the new girlfriend collapsed, and she told the whole story, and everything happened. And the police were shocked that the criminal who did the deeds was the same criminal who did slaughter the 18-year-old kid. So she said that Abu Samir told her to wear clothes like a hat and a backpack and a clothes the same way like his wife Salima did, the wife who disappeared. And he asked her to go to the airport and fly to Al Ain city in a specific day. It's the same day that Salima, his second young wife, was supposed to go and see her family. And she did. She asked him why. He said, just do it. Go to the airport, fly to that town, and come back again. But he told her to use his second wife documents, use her name, and get in the airplane as his wife Salima, the one who disappeared. And she did everything according to what he said, and it was a successful plan, and she came back. And she started crying, she collapsed, she said, I didn't do anything, I just did what he told me, I'm not part of all this drama, I didn't kill her. So this is what happened. You remember the party that the 18-year-old kid wanna join, and he jumped over the fence to join the party? That moment, Abu Samir and Salima, before she disappeared, were leaving the party, going to his car late at night, going home. And the 18-year-old kid witnessed Abu Samir slaughtering his wife after they left the party. And of course the 18-year-old kid freaked out at the view, and he texted his father, and he attempted to escape and jumped over the fence, but Abu Samir saw him. When someone has so much adrenaline and is scared and witnessed a crime, they get weaker. So Abu Samir beat the kid and chased him, and he slaughtered the kid too because he was an eyewitness, and he's gonna tell the police that of what he saw. Abu Samir left the kid where he is. He took his wife, probably buried her somewhere, God knows, and went home like nothing happened. That was the night. It was all of it planned, of course. That was the night before his wife is supposed to fly back to her family. So who flew in the airplane? Whose footage was in the airport? It was his third mistress, the woman that he planned with her to wear his second wife Salima's clothes and outfit to look like her in the cameras, and then come back. After the police heard this story, they captured Abu Samir. They told him, everything you did. And then he told them and confessed that he killed his first wife too. And they told him, how did you do that? You were at work the whole day. Abu Samir stated that but at that time, he was already in a deep relationship with Salima, and he talked to her frankly because she was pushing him to marry her, despite the fact that polygamy is allowed in that culture, and he could have just married her and took her in as a second wife, and he could have a third and a fourth. As you know, that culture allow up to 4 wives. He thought that it's gonna create so much drama because his first wife, they lived an eternity together. They had kids and they're all married now and grown-ups, and it's just both families will break. Like her family will be angry at him, and especially if someone is from a high class and has money, they don't allow these things. It's like she's not good enough and he has to have another one. And since the second one is even younger, it's more painful for the woman. The second marriage is not for all women. Some women are okay with it, but he knew that his first wife will never be okay with it, and her death is the only solution. And he cannot jeopardize himself and do it. I don't think he would be able to do it, but since he killed Salima too, I think he would be able to do it. So he confessed and told the police that he spoke openly with Salima. If you want me to marry you, we have to get rid of Samir, which is Samir means the mom of Samir, his first wife. So she agreed that they are gonna make it like if a thief came in or a stranger just break into the house and just killed her, and she was defending herself or want to steal something, and he thought nobody's in the house and he was surprised she's there, and he slaughtered her. So Salima, in reality, Salima is the one who did the deed. She got in, slaughtered the woman, and left, and then they got married after that. He was in love, and he knew his second wife Salima before his wife's death, not after, as everybody thought. And that's why the marriage was fast, and his kids couldn't accept the idea that he married after their mom quickly. It didn't just make sense to anybody. So he was in a relationship with her before his first wife's death, and that's why he killed her to get rid of her. And to be honest with you guys, this is so disturbing. I cannot believe that someone would kill someone just cold-blooded like that. Polygamy is allowed in that culture, so he could have up to 4 wives. Why did he kill somebody who he had kids with? She was older. Probably she would make a fuss about him marrying a second woman, and he didn't want to deal with that, but he could have done it anyway. So it's really disturbing that to kill someone that you had a life with and kids with, and they cooked food for you, you shared your body and soul with. It's just very disturbing idea. And to do it again, and they asked him, so you killed the first one, why did you kill the second one? He said, well, she betrayed me, she wasn't loyal. He found out that she has some kind of a suspicious, weird relationship with his daughter's husband. So when his daughter came to keep him company after his wife's death, her husband has a suspicious relationship. He felt like their relationship wasn't right. When his daughter was at work, when he was at work, he suspected they were doing something, because she was extremely pretty and very young girl. She's known in the whole town that she's the prettiest. So he decided to get rid of her, and he was already developing a romantic relationship with a co-worker at work with him. So he thought it's a brilliant idea to get rid of her, and just because he didn't like her anymore, he didn't trust her anymore. So he decided to get rid of her. And he showed them where he buried the body. And that's it. That's the end of the story. So there was no clues. There was no way for them to find out who's the killer. But the poor 18-year-old kid story made the criminal fall in justice's hands. And he got sentenced to death, because a soul is for a soul in that culture. They follow the constitution of the Holy Book. Arabic or Muslim countries, most of them, they don't have a constitution of their own. They follow the book, especially when it comes to big matters like these murders or big cases or big events in anybody's life. They have the law is written in the Holy Book, and nobody can go around it. There is only one condition where the criminal doesn't get killed if the victims or the victim family forgave him. So they pay penalty. It's a monetary punishment. They could ask for any amount of money for their son or daughter's souls. But the family of Salima didn't forgive Abu Samir, and they want a soul for a soul. So he was sentenced to death, and he was hanged. And that's the end of our story. Hope you liked it. And I wanted to ask you guys if you can leave me a comment at the bottom. I did a couple of stories with some music in the background, like criminal stories kind of music. And I don't know if you liked it with the music or if you like it plain like this without the music in the background. Take care and have a great night. Bye-bye.